Welcome to episode 226, I think. This is the Jennifer podcast with Dave and Breeze. I don't remember the rest of everything I used to say.
I know, back OG intro, you used to have to do all of it every time.
I know. Surfing through the soundboard. Yeah, I was like, ooh,
this is my first show with the OG intro that I've started, right? Because I think I called in one time to your show and you were still doing the OG intro in your first handful of episodes. But
Dave and Breeze talking about national days and weird stuff
and things. Ooh. Here we are back again.
Yes.
Hope everyone's week was good.
Oh yeah. What was last week? Gosh, I don't even remember. Anything happened? Is there anything going on?
Nothing at all happened in the world ever.
Oh, nothing. No bombed ballistic missiles were fired anywhere.
Right. It's been completely peaceful. Yeah. Everything is solved. There's nothing going on. No, last week was for me. It was interesting. So my
National Bomb Your Neighbor Day.
Yeah, right.
Jesus.
No, for me it was solo dad weekend.
Oh, the wife was out of town.
Yeah. Professional conference out in Philly where it was over 100 degrees. I think the heat wave is probably the news that we would talk about on the show. How has it been?
Yeah, that's a good.
How has it been where you're at? Because you're a little further south, but the weather systems are just so different. I think between you and me, or they could be.
Oh yeah, because you guys got. I mean, obviously we both had the heat. It was really really hot, mid 90s one day.
Yeah,
but no, there was that one day where you and Erie got absolutely blasted with this big storm.
Oh my gosh! And actually, one just opened up. The sky just opened up maybe a half an hour ago, time of recording on Friday as well. And it finally has calmed down. I was worried you're going to hear the rain, the noise coming through my house. It was really bad. But yeah, it's calmed down now. But yeah, we're still facing just spontaneous torrential pours.
Yeah, well, the heat does kick it up. So
yeah,
I have a wedding tomorrow. It's supposed to be mid 80s and humid. So that's going to be wonderful. I will be disgustingly sweaty. Gonna be great.
I will be attending a wedding tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Which will be outside in Erie. So hopefully the weather kind of holds out for. It's my cousin's wedding. Hopefully that weather holds out, and we'll have a good time. Yeah,
you should stop by. I heard there's a good massage parlor up there. You could visit.
Yeah, I heard about that. I saw that on the board there. That's not going to be very appropriate, but
Yeah. So, dude, I literally just saw this story an hour before recording.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So this is great because it's super local. It's in Erie. The headline on this article says 4 people charged with running sex operation out of an Erie spa. Yes. This
is Dateline June 27th, 2025. This is probably the most recent.
It is. This is very current.
2 hours ago.
Yeah.
This is the most current news we've ever reported on the show.
Yep, the old rub and tug, the happy ending, whatever you want to call it.
Oh man,
I think it just goes without saying that neither one of us have ever experienced anything like this.
It does go without saying. Yeah. In that regard, it's somewhat fascinating to read about it, especially because it's in my hometown.
Yeah, this is just crazy. What I don't understand is
for 9 years this has been going on. Apparently, I
mean, I guess once allegedly could be longer. Okay, two things about this story. There was a wide range of these women who were masseuses or masseuse. Did you pluralize that?
Masseuse.
I don't know.
Sure.
They're 34, 43, and 51. Mm-hmm. So I guess as a somebody that would be a frequenter of this establishment, would you do you think it's kind of luck of the draw whether you get the 30 something or you get the 50 something?
Well, the way I'm reading this though, this is listed as co-defendants, but it doesn't necessarily specify that they were the ones in that capacity, right?
So wait, no.
It just says co-defendants. All members of her family are identified in court documents, and they give the names of.
We don't have to give the names, but
No, but I'm just saying they face felony misdemeanor charges. That's the question. Was it truly a family business, or were they actually just were they running a family business that they had quote unquote employees? But you would think they'd be co-defendants, right? You'd think performing that's a crime, right? Like that. I don't know. This is kind of probably poorly fascinating to me. Like I don't know. I'm reading the story over and over, and I'm like, this is a little bit baffling.
Do you think maybe the management, because they're the ones that kind of got in trouble for this, so did they? Maybe they were oblivious to it. Do you think? And maybe the other employees were like doing this on the sly.
I don't know. No, it says including the owner.
Oh, great. Okay.
4 people, including the owner, and 3 managers of the spa have been charged. 52 alleged buyers have also been charged in connection with the case.
Oh, so the poor bastards who went there to go get a little tuggy tug.
That is also a crime.
Yeah,
that is absolutely a crime.
So they're just giving them all up. Man, if you were doing that, like that'd be like cash only, and like never use your name, man. Yeah. That's like some kind of sting operation. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't even know how you would like walk into a place. I guess you would have to like your buddy would have to tell you, like, hey, this is how you do it. Because I wouldn't imagine you could just walk into any spa and just be like, hey, you guys do this?
Right. And that again, I find this kind of confusingly fascinating, is because I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even begin to know how to approach that. Yeah, what do you do? He just said, hello, sir. I'm looking for a happy ending. Well, who knows what the manager is? There's probably the dude managing the spa. Who knows?
Why are you asking him?
I don't know.
You just leave with a regular massage that day.
No, I meant like the person working the front desk.
Oh, okay. All right.
Sorry, I wasn't painting a very clear narrative picture.
Right.
We're starting the show off really well.
You're like, hello, sir. You have very nice hands.
It didn't even occur to me when I said it.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. Oh wow. Oh god, I love this show. Anyway, so that's eerie news.
Yeah.
Crazy weird.
Okay. Oh, Steve just texted me. He's going to jump on in about 5 minutes. So when you hear you hear a weird noise when he pops into the show.
Awesome.
But yeah, he's going to tell us his story of his latest cruise, his vacation. I'm excited to hear about it.
That sounds cool. Do you want to jump into National Days quickly, or do you want to do one more story?
No, let's do National Days and then we'll get him in.
Yeah. So we got some National Days coming up, some interesting ones. Monday, June 30th, we have National Meteor Watch Day. So meteor showers. You ever see? I've actually probably only seen one, like an actual meteor shower. I've seen, quote unquote shooting stars, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a meteor. But like, have you ever like gone out and seen like the full blown meteor shower?
Yes. Experience? Yeah. We did that. It was years ago. We were probably in our late teens, and there was a meteor shower coming through, and it was like, okay, height of the meteors and visibility is going to be like at like 3:00 in the morning. So, as teenagers, we stayed awake. We may or may not at the time been under the influence. Allegedly, yeah. But we went up in the heights in our town here. There's a couple really big open hills, and we lay down and we were just staring up at the stars at 3 a.m, watching these meteors fly by. It was actually really cool. And I remember, because we were under the influence, I started I had this weird kind of panic set in, because in that moment when I was laying there, I remember thinking to myself, I started thinking in relative to like space. I'm like, what if I'm not laying here looking at the stars? I could be like, according to space, like any direction, is any direction. So I started envisioning myself like looking down instead of up. You know what I mean? Like I was looking down into space.
Oh yeah, I guess because that's a good point.
Yeah, dude, it messed my mind up. Like it made me freak out. Like it was weird.
It kind of messed my mind up right now just talking about it. It's a valid, and I'm, couple that with an influence. That's Yeah, it sounds a bit surreal, honestly.
Like I spread my legs and my arms out, so I was like, making like a snow angel move, sort of, just not moving it, but just spread out.
Yeah,
like Da Vinci, and
but yeah, Vitruvian Man, Da Vinci. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I was picturing.
yeah. So, and dude, like it was really, really bizarre. Like I did not enjoy that.
I can only imagine. Were you like holding on in case you're going to fall off the earth there?
I was finding myself grabbing the grass. Yes, it was unsettling.
Wow,
So
that's a
anyway.
lot, Ed.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so they're meteor shower day.
Yes.
Also on the same day, June 30th, we have International Sailor Moon Day.
Is that cartoon or anime?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is that anime.
I know what it is. Never seen it though.
Likewise, I know of it. It's very amusing. Of course, there's International Day for it. Like it is a huge kind of cultural phenomenon. So yeah, that's on Monday. If you want to celebrate that, go ahead.
Nope.
Nope. Also, Tuesday, July 1st, International Reggae Day.
Hey man, yeah, dude. By the beach.
I love it. Yeah. So that's Reggae Day on July 1st. What else do we have here? Also, July 1st, National U.S. Postage Stamp Day.
Woohoo! Oh, okay, for like
Ooh,
collectors.
right,
Okay.
really. Yeah. Did you ever collect it? Did you ever collect stamps? I don't think this is.
No.
I put them on postage. I don't really.
I have no desire. No, I'm not much of a collector, really, of anything. Are you? You collect old VHS tapes.
No, I actually got rid of a lot of that. I collect playing card decks. That's one of the things, like kind of novelty card decks. I collect a lot of those.
Okay.
I've got about.
Oh, I think Steve's about ready to join us. Let's see.
Cool.
Let's see. Wait for it. Wait for it. Is he coming? Maybe. I may not. I told him to hop in.
Yeah, sometimes it takes a bit to get to the computer.
That's true.
I got about 200, maybe 200, 300 different decks of cards.
No kidding. So you do collect stuff, Breeze.
Yeah. It's pretty casual. Like it's basically when I go somewhere, and if I find like a cool deck of cards, I'll be like, yeah, I'll buy that.
And what do you do? You just collect them, right? You don't bust them out and play with them?
Nope.
Okay.
I got plenty of those that I do play with. I usually go and get, like, we used to play a lot of card games with the family when I was younger, my wife's family and me. So I would get, there's a game called Pounce that's like basically competitive solitaire, for lack of a better term. I probably couldn't describe it well on the show. You really need the visuals for it. Hey, Steve.
Not that cord.
Discord.
Discord.
What the fuck?
Oh, actually, we're going to pause the show and we're going to fix your audio. Be right back. All right. We're back. All right. Technical difficulties taken care of. Steve, welcome to the show.
Welcome, Steve.
Thank you. Good to be back.
Yes. So I guess just to catch you up, we started out, we just finished up some national days, nothing too crazy. But locally, there was a story that we were talking about, which was this Erie spa got busted for doing like rub and tugs. And just I thought you would need to know that, since that's kind of your, sort of your stomping grounds growing up.
My stomping grounds. Well, I don't know about mine, but I do have a friend.
Oh, no, I just meant Erie, not
Erie,
rub and tugs.
Oh, yeah. Clarity.
The area.
Yeah, Erie was my old stomping ground. Yes, indeed it was. But yeah, I have a friend who went into explicit detail, which I don't need to go into detail, but
so some insight on how this
we
works.
were confused. We were confused on how one would find such an establishment.
Oh, well, there are a couple different, we'll say, backwater websites that you can find these places on, but you don't even need to do that. Apparently, one of the key ways of finding a place is through Google reviews. Actually,
if you slip Google, on your way in.
Well,
sorry.
Well, there are some telltale signs in the actual venue, which I'll get to in a second. But if you're,
hang on, we gotta let Dave recover. Before you get to your story, I was gonna interject. Is that why Google was originally called Backrub?
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
It was called Backrub.
It was. Yes, that was like the working title.
That's a fact.
Oh, sorry.
Neighbor, you okay?
I'm okay.
Have
Yeah.
you recovered? Okay, sorry. Moving on.
Sorry about that.
First of all, if you slip on something on your way in,
Yeah.
you want to immediately turn around.
Right, okay.
Because that doesn't sound like
Very clean establishment.
well, it doesn't even sound like a regular, spa like the one you're talking about. It sounds like a whole
Something
different
else.
type
Yeah.
of- yeah.
What did your buddy say as far as like I said, like the approach?
Well, okay. So this is great. Well, it's easy to find them. Obviously, if you just do a Google search for a spa or a massage, right?
Really?
And what you want to do is you look at the reviews, and if the reviews posted by women are terrible, but the reviews posted by guys are pretty good, for the most part, that's a good chance that
They all gave it one thumb up.
yeah, like the reviews by women will be like, couldn't understand them, and they demanded the tip up front. And,
I bet they did. Sorry.
These are female reviews. Female reviews. Yeah, so you can definitely tell by the reviews. And then in terms of in the venue itself, well, one dead giveaway is typically how the masseuses are dressed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, if you walk in and your masseuse is, wearing regular, just like probably clothes, probably has like a company, logo on their shirt or something. That's probably a legitimate place. But if you walk in and your masseuse is basically wearing a mini skirt, then that's probably a good indication.
It's fascinating that it would be that overtly
that obvious.
And obvious, like, but again, it just speaks to my ignorance on this. Like,
yeah, she's got like an apron on. Looks like she was glazing donuts. Sorry.
This might be your favorite topic we have ever covered on the show.
I'm sorry.
You are just completely and utterly broken.
Yeah. Another dead giveaway is, I would say, the skill at which they are able to speak, like how well they speak English. If the English is really good, that's probably a legitimate place.
Oh, really? I would have imagined the other way. If they're like real broken English, they would probably they would be the ones that were, tugging.
I think that's what he implied.
That's what I'm.
Okay. Oh, I misunderstood that. Sorry.
Yeah, if it's very broken English, that's probably another good indication. And then in terms of, when you're there, typically you'll get some subtle clues, like subtle hints, which I could go into detail about, or maybe not for this show. But,
probably not for the show.
Yeah, probably not. But
I am kind of curious, actually. Like, how subtle is it? Are they just like making like subtle little hand gestures? Like, what are they doing?
That's accurate. Yeah, like basically sign language. But
I can only imagine.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious. So again, wow. This is reported to me by a dear friend who I will not disclosed. But these are the conversations we've had over the years, and based on his experience.
Wow.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, fake your confidant for letting us kind of educating us a little bit on that, because I was just clueless.
I enjoyed that one. Yeah.
You did? You think?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Anyway,
again, if you step in the room and you slip on something, get out of it.
Right. Time to go. Okay.
True for most places. For one, I mean, I would say the same thing about a McDonald's, to be honest. So,
Yeah, that's true. But for one, when you get in there, you're usually stepping into a lobby. So it's like, if stuff's going down in the lobby, then you want to try a different place.
Different kind of place.
Right. Different kind of place.
Oh my God. All right.
Oof. All right. So,
well, I was gonna say, did you say that because Steve, you went on a trip, right? You went on a vacation.
I did.
Yes, that's what I was going to get into next.
Okay.
All right.
So I guess set us up. You went on a cruise. What cruise line was it?
Norwegian.
The retirement home at sea.
Yeah. So for yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So for context, I was on Hinge, which is a singles, dating app, back in like January, February, March timeframe, and within the first week I went out with this woman twice, and you know, we hit it off, of course. But I think it was on maybe the second date. She's like, "Oh, by the way, I have an extra ticket for a cruise to Alaska." You know, and she's like, "If things work out, would you be interested in going?" And I was like, that's yeah. I mean, that sounds like a once in a lifetime opportunity, right? Especially since it was a free ticket, and so we did hit it off, and we did end up going on that cruise, which we sailed out of. We sailed out of Seattle, and I think it was about 7 days. It was a full week long.
Those are long cruises.
It was a long cruise, and let me tell you, I mean, we're still quote like in the honeymoon phase of the new relationship, right? But when you're stuck with the same person for 7 days in a row, 24/7, I don't care, you know, how much you like each other, you're going to get on each other's nerves. And the other thing too is you're very quickly going to find out, like, you know, let's call it bedroom and bathroom.
Yeah,
quirks.
It's tight quarters. Yeah, like the staterooms are not huge. So yeah, if you gotta go, you know, drop a number 2. Usually, I don't know if you did this, but I would always, if I could, I would leave the room. I would just go to like one of the public restrooms because
I absolutely did, and I feel really bad because I mean, you're on a cruise line, right? And you're there. It's buffet central, right? You know, you just whatever you want to eat, access 24/7, right? So of course we were eating very terribly, and which played hell on my stomach. And yeah, I found myself having to, you know, relieve myself rather desperately, but I didn't, you know, being that I'm in a relatively new relationship and everything, I didn't want to, you know, do this.
Right. So they're dropping with the door hanging open.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it was late at night one night, and I did do that. And I was informed about it the next morning that the flush was incomplete.
Oh no! Dear God.
Yes, and I was mortified because I was like, no, I for sure flushed it. Yeah.
She walks in the bathroom. She's like,
"You son of a bitch."
Yeah. So after that, I made up my mind. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do that in our room bathroom anymore. You
know, just avoid the problem altogether.
Yeah. But again, I'm spending all week eating like this really crap food, which is giving me, you know, like massive constipation. And so anyway, the second, I think I went, you know, not going to go into detail here, but it was definitely like the second or third time I had to do my business.
Sure. I
ventured out, and I think it was like, I think it was either really early in the morning or really late at night. So the boat was kind of quiet, you know, like I think it was early in the morning because late at night, there's usually people milling around. So I think it was early in the morning, and I had to go down a couple floors because I knew there was a public restroom like right outside this floor where they had a theater. So I go down to that floor, and there's no one around. So I'm thinking, oh, this is good.
Right, you know, perfect.
Like, because unfortunately, that's right. I had gone previously right when the show had let out, and you know, it was one of those situations where I came out of the bathroom, and you know, this sweet looking little lady went in after me, and I was like, oh God, no. But anyway, the coast is clear.
She was never seen again.
Yeah. She probably got off at the next port and was like, I want my money back. But anyway, so there's no one around, and I go in the same bathroom, and you know, the train's leaving the station for lack of better terms, but I don't want to just like sit directly on a public toilet. And they didn't have one of those like, you know, paper ass gaskets that you can usually get off the wall. So
you made like a nest?
Yeah, I made like a little nest, you know, and so I do my business.
Mm-hmm.
I stand up, the toilet flushes automatically, and I mean, it does not. It
didn't take it all.
It didn't take. No, it didn't take any of it.
Oh,
because it was just not. There was not enough force, you know,
on this planet.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there was no manual flush button. Usually, automatic toilets have.
I thought you had to have one. I thought there had to be.
I desperately looked around.
I'm sure you did.
There's got to be there's got to be a foot switch, something like that. nothing. So I'm like standing in front of it and walking away from it, trying to get it to like automatically flush. And for some reason,
He's
pacing
dancing
back and forth, waving his
yeah,
arms.
the timeout is insanely long on there, so it just wasn't working. And I didn't have there wasn't a plunger in there. I didn't have any tools. So unfortunately, I had to.
You left it, didn't you?
I had to leave the snake in the nest. Yes.
Oh my
but,
god!
And it was like I had committed a crime. I opened the door real slow, and I'm kind of like peering around. And I'm like, okay, there's nobody out here. I shut the door.
You just run.
He ran.
Yeah. I start walking really fast. I'm looking around for a sign, like out of order sign or something like that, so I could put an out of order sign, but I couldn't find one anywhere. And I was just like, oh man, So I went back to the room, and my girlfriend, was still sleeping. No idea that I had committed this rather heinous crime.
Right.
But yes, unfortunately, I have to. If there's any off chance that anyone from the Norwegian cruise line crew is listening to this, very sorry about the
So sorry.
on deck 7. I think it was deck 7 today.
Oh my god. Oh,
So
well, you tried. So on a completely different note,
Yeah.
how was Alaska? Because the Alaskan cruise type is actually the type that I would most want to go on, not necessarily the Caribbean ones. That's just a personal preference. Because I've heard it's just majestic in that part of the world. Is that where you'd land on that assessment?
it is really, when you're sailing up through there's just islands everywhere, and it was kind of interesting because it reminded me of like Lord of the Rings. But in Lord of the Rings, you had these really like huge fields, right? And then you had mountains off in the distance. Well, imagine that, but only like water, right? Like you just had these bays and you had little inlets and just seawater everywhere. But you had the mountains, you had the pine trees that would go up to a certain level, like a tree line or snow line, right? And then above that, it was just rock. It looked like everything looked like a painting, basically. So it was very beautiful. The days were very long. Of course, it's summertime, so.
Oh yeah. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, based on or still, I guess days are rather long. Like it wouldn't even start to get dark until like 10:30, 11 at night, and then it might stay dark for just a few hours, and then it'd start getting light again. So that was rather interesting. It is. I did get a chance to see some glaciers, which was really cool.
Oh, nifty.
Yeah, and the one park where we actually went on a little hike to see, they had these placards in the ground that were marked based on the year. It was like one said like ice level 1916, and then you'd walk another 100 feet or so, and it would say like ice level 1937, and so on and so forth. So you could kind of walk the path of the ice receding.
Oh wow,
That's pretty cool.
And then it was cool. And then it went to this like overlook where it overlooked, a rather large lake where you could see the very edge of the glacier. And yeah, I mean, it looked like a completely snow-covered valley, but just like piled up really high, So very cool. A lot of icebergs. Excuse me. There were a lot of icebergs floating around in the water. And of course, I kept thinking about Titanic. I mean, there was nothing the size of the one in Titanic, but it was just interesting because, you're on this cruise ship and of course, modern materials and everything, they're sturdy. And these were like small by comparison, but I'm just like, man, imagine the captain, navigating like he was crawling through this area that just had probably like hundreds of just icebergs floating around that had broken off the glacier.
That's kind of scary, man.
Yeah, I mean that has to come to mind. Then,
yeah,
right? Like any human being, I feel, is going to think about Titanic.
Oh yeah, well,
if they see that many icebergs out there.
And the thing is too that some of them were actually big enough that there were several sea lions just hanging out on them. So they weren't just like little ice cubes. They were pretty good, sizable chunks. So you didn't want to just like ram them, Although I imagine this ship was massive. I mean, I don't know if
Well, they have those. They have those reinforced. Trying to think of the name of the front of the boat, but it's fully reinforced. It's like armored, basically, right? Like
yeah. Oh, I imagine so. Yeah.
Because this was probably about maybe 10 years ago now. There was I want to say it was Venezuela. I don't know. There was some army or some naval ship, a destroyer, that was effectively challenging a cruise ship and saying the cruise ship was violating their waters, even though it wasn't. So it was like, maybe it was Carnival ship, whatever. And cruise line called in, said, nope, we're fine. They called back home, to their home office, said, here's our position. They basically kept everything above board, no pun intended. And the destroyer tried to ram the cruise ship.
Really?
And capsized because those things are tanks. They hit, so they tried to cut the cruise ship off and capsized because the armoring, the plating on that cruise ship that's designed to cut through icebergs kind of just cut through the ship.
Wow.
Wow.
And then the cruise ship stopped and offered to rescue the sailors on the military ship.
They all declined out of spite.
They did, actually.
Did they really?
Yes. No, they declined the rescue. But again, they radioed in, they called everything in. It was very humorous to me. It's like, what did you think was going to happen? You trying to challenge this cruise ship? So anyway, I was thinking about that as you were talking about these icebergs. I'm like, I'm pretty sure the current design, it'll just cut right through the majority of them. Probably not without some damage or a poor experience for the passengers, right? Because you're still meeting with a large object. I can't imagine the passengers are going to enjoy.
They're just
being jostled around.
Absolutely massive. I mean, they're so big that you have to be pretty far away from them to get a picture of one, in a frame. Like,
that's crazy.
Yeah, they're huge.
Like a skyscraper on its side. It's impressive. Huh. Anyway, the fun things I saw up there, I did see some humpback whales. Made me think of that scene in Ace Ventura when the guy redirects some whaling boats, which I believe is completely illegal now. I don't think you can whale at all now, but saw some humpback whales, saw some orcas, which was
nice,
pretty cool. Saw tons of bald eagles. I didn't know this. I didn't know that bald eagles apparently they nest in a ton of them live in Alaska.
I did not know that.
I wouldn't think that. Yeah, but yeah, very prevalent in Alaska. And of course, saw sea. It was basically like going to SeaWorld, only in real life, I guess, outdoors.
Huh. I wanted to ask you a question on the boat.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if this is like a Norwegian thing they do across the board, but when you would walk into the dining areas, like the buffet area, were there usually one or two people there with hand sanitizer saying "washi washi"?
Oh,
were they singing the "washi washi" song?
They weren't singing the "washi washi" song. I didn't run into that. Where they did have hand sanitizer though. It wasn't when you entered the buffet. It was if you left the boat at a port and came back, like you went on an excursion, whatever, and came back. They had hand sanitizer, before you got back on the ship, and that's where so here's how it would work: is you would pass the guy with hand sanitizer, you'd go up the ramp, you'd show the next person your boarding card, whatever. And then right beyond that, right before the elevators, that's where they were singing whatever song, they were rapping and hip hop and dancing, everything. It was very lively. It was kind of fun, actually. Yeah, they definitely made it an entertaining experience, leaving and getting back on the ship.
Yeah. Did you do any of the things on the boat that they have, the on-board entertainment stuff, like the comedy shows, bingo? They have so many things that are happening on a boat at any given point. Trivia.
Yeah, I mean, you there's no way you could do everything possible. I mean, there's just an insurmountable amount of activities. One thing we did do is we saw a Beatles cover band.
Oh, nice.
They were okay. Not bad.
Were they Filipino? Can't buy me love.
Actually, that's what was so funny is everything was Filipino.
I know. That's why I said that.
Yeah. Even the entertainment was Filipino. Every single staff member, every single entertainer, all Filipino. which we were talking about that, and they're like, oh, it's actually a dream job for them to be selected to work on a cruise ship. So I thought that was
What about your cruise director? Ours was not Filipino. He was, I don't know what he was, but they're usually very animated and entertaining when they're making announcements and stuff.
Yeah, the guy making announcements, I mean, I'm terrible with identifying where accents are from, but I want to say it definitely wasn't Filipino. I want to say it was more like English, maybe,
English, or perhaps Australian, maybe. Yeah, it was a weird accent. It
was definitely a weird accent. Yeah, I started thinking it was a recording, but actually, no, I think it was a real person.
Yeah, because ours would be like, he'd jump on and be like, cruise director Jack, he's like, he's like, turn your attention to the port side, and check out the, the Grand Turk Island. Like, they were like really like super animated.
Like a
That's
shock
a really
jock,
good impression.
like shock
That's
jockey or
exactly.
something, like
Yeah.
Howard's like radio.
Mhm.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun making fun of them.
Oh yeah. Speaking of entertainment, one thing I did do, which I was totally excited about when I saw the brochure, was there was a go-kart track on the cruise ship. Which
What?
I thought was, that's what I said. I was like, there's a whole freaking go-kart track on the cruise ship. Now, I never thought if you would have asked me, like, what do you think you'd do on a cruise ship? Oh, maybe, do some slides, maybe, eat a buffet. Never in a million years would I have said, oh yeah, I race go-karts on a cruise ship.
Did you do it?
Oh, I totally did.
Yeah, nice.
I totally did. Yeah. I mean, they weren't, it wasn't a huge track by any means. It certainly wasn't like K1 speed or anything like that, but they were fast and it was fun. I definitely enjoyed the go-kart track. And again, the novelty of just doing it out in the middle of the ocean.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You had like a big swell and it throws you off the boat. That'd be
that
my
did
fear.
not happen, but that would be pretty, that'd be pretty cool actually if that happened.
Like, it'd be awesome.
That's why Dave brings his whistle everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you gotta have a whistle in case you fall in.
Oh man.
Well, anyway, yeah. Anything else interesting? If not, we're gonna grab a few stories here.
The only other thing that I did is they had this cool slide where traditional slides you sit down on your butt and kind of scoot yourself forward and you start going. Well, this one you stood on this platform and it just dropped out from underneath of you. And they kind of make you sweat a little bit, so I'm in there and I'm standing there and, with my arms crossed and everything and my feet together, standing there on this platform and, I'm kind of leaning back, but it feels like you're just basically standing straight up and down and you're like, oh man. And like, you're watching the operator, and you're not sure when you're going to go. So they make you sweat it out a little bit. And then all of a sudden they just drop you and it's a free fall for, like probably half a second or something like that. But anyway, yeah, the free fall slide was pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, other than that, the only other thing I would say is, for any advice I would give someone going on a cruise ship is try all the bars because not all the bartenders were created equal. We went to some really great bars. We went to some really terrible bars on the ship. And of course, once you find the great bars and the great bartenders, treat them well.
Oh yeah.
Make sure you take care of them because they'll take care of you.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, Norwegian did have some pretty cool, like, almost felt like underground. What do you call it? Like, that era of like, what do you call it? The
Like a speakeasy?
yeah, they had like a speakeasy
okay.
vibes. Like it was really cool. And those ones we like to hang out in because they were just had such a cool vibe to them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That sounds nifty.
yeah. Well, I'm glad you didn't, fall off the boat and get lost at sea. I'm glad you made it back.
plus, yes, I definitely made it back. Because I mean, man, if you were to go overboard out there, like, I don't know, man. I mean,
You don't need to tell Dave. He knows.
Oh,
He knows.
I know. Yeah.
He lives that nightmare every day, I think. Sorry, Dave. I should make fun of your phobias. That's really rude of me.
Oh no, it's totally fine. No, it's so true. Yeah, yeah. I can't. No. I just. I think I would have made like a good like risk assessment person because I can't go into most situations without like assessing the risks of things and that kind of stuff just creeps into my mind. And
like that guy in the Paddington movie.
Real.
Yeah, like what to do in those situations if the worst case happens and you fall off the boat, whether it be complete accident. Yeah, exactly. Like how am I going to get myself rescued? So I figured at the worst case I could at least make some noise with a whistle.
There you go.
I looked into like personal inflatable devices that I could wear, but that just started getting impractical and expensive. So
Now I'm picturing you just walking around in a personal inflatable device.
Just having like a floaty around my waist.
Yep. Thank you for that. That's exactly it. I'm thinking like the dinosaur shape one, like the green like floaty around your waist with the little little head or giraffe or something like a little head up front.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That'd be so funny. Like I'm scared. I don't want to fall in. Grown man.
I mean, if you fell in, like you would probably freeze to death long before anyone would get to you. I mean,
up there, yeah.
Well, I mean, if you went on an Alaskan cruise, because I mean that water is cold. So
the Caribbean. I mean, dude, any of it's going to be, not that warm. Even in the Gulf of America.
Oh God.
Yeah. Still getting used to
It's still
saying
jarring to hear you. It's still jarring to hear people say that.
that. Yeah.
yeah, I'm still not used to it either.
It's weird. But anyway, let's jump into a couple of these stories. We'll do one more with Breeze, because I know he's got to roll out soon.
Yeah.
And then, which one do you want to do, Breeze? Any of these jump out at you?
They're all just. Let's just talk about the least fatal one. Maybe we talk about dangerous places and dangerous things. Segue into the world's most dangerous beach.
Okay, yeah, this is
New. Is it Smyrna? Like Smirnoff Ice. New Smyrna Beach in Florida has been dubbed the most dangerous beach, and tourists are worried due to the high number of attacks from sharks.
Yeah, this is in Florida.
Oh.
Yeah, Florida. Yeah, I don't know where Smyrna Beach is. I'm not sure what it's in between.
I'll look it up. I'll see what it's close to while we're chatting about this. But yeah, I don't. Let's see here.
Yeah, the beach has been dubbed the world's shark bite capital. I would never go to this beach.
No.
Yeah.
So now you're tapping into my carnal fear is not falling off the cruise ship, but sharks. I mean, I am like, and you know why? It's definitely probably related to the fact that I think one of the first movies I ever remember watching in my entire life was either Jaws 1 or Jaws 2. And I just remember a guy being eaten or half eaten or whatever by this giant shark, and then it just stayed with me. Right. So I still to this day, get freaked out by, deep water that I can't see what's swimming around when I know there could be a possibility of a shark.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Dude.
Sure. This looks to be south of Daytona, north of Cape Canaveral.
Okay. All right. So wait, which side is Daytona's on the Atlantic side? Yeah. Okay.
Not Gulf side. Yeah, I'm trying to find it with respect to Cocoa Beach because that's where we tend to end up because my dad lives kind of around that area, but I can't zoom in on it fast enough here. But yeah, it's in that Cape Canaveral zone.
Yeah. Well, there's been we don't have to get into all these stories, but just to kind of piggyback this one, there's been multiple shark attacks as of late. Yeah. Let's see this one here. Yeah, man eaten by shark. It says terrifying. I don't want to hear the last words of this guy.
No,
but this was in this man got dragged away by a shark in the Mediterranean. I saw 3 or 4 other stories. Oh, dude, there was this one in Florida. This young girl, I think she was 9, got her hand bit off by a tiger shark.
Oh,
yeah. Luckily. When I saw the interview and everything afterwards, and the parents were talking about it, you just hear it in their voice. They're still just horrified at this whole thing, obviously. But the dad says he remembered she got out of the water and she was waving towards him, and she thought she was holding a crab. But it was,
no!
Yeah,
oh God.
And it was actually her hand. But hang on. Silver line of the story, they were able to reattach her hand. And because it was still there, the shark didn't take it, and some of her fingers are already starting to move again.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So kudos to those doctors.
Yeah.
Modern medicine. Man.
Yeah, but dear God, but no, that just when I see these stories, I always send this stuff to my daughter because I want her to have a healthy respect for Mother Nature and sharks. But there was a kayaker that on the sound side of the Outer Banks, and got attacked. Their kayak got attacked by a 18-foot great white.
Oh my God!
Yeah, and literally when we were down in Corolla, Grace and her boyfriend, they wanted to go kayaking on the sound side, and it was windy and the water was choppy. I'm like, dude, there's no way. I'm like, you're not going out there. I'm like, you don't think there's sharks on this side? It's just it's the space of ocean in between the mainland and the Outer Banks. And yeah, so no, it's terrifying. I hate sharks. I love sharks as far as what they do for the ocean. I'm not even sure what that is, but they eat things.
I respect them. You have to respect them.
Yeah,
because. Yeah, I mean, if you're in the water, you are definitely not at the top of the food chain. They are.
No, exactly. I've said those same words. I said, the moment you walk in the water, you've put yourself on the menu.
Yep.
Like,
oh yeah,
that is a fact. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, Breeze, you got time for one more? You got to roll.
I got one more.
Okay. This one here, this was another animal attack story. This was, okay. Florida again? All right. This is on, this is on wideopenspaces.com. It says, alligator attacks 20 kayakers in Florida, almost severs a woman's arm until unlikely hero fends off animal. So this one croc was just going after all the kayakers, like, and trying to take their, trying to eat their boats. Oh my God. It says, there's an alligator on my arm, she screamed. She'd been kayaking with her husband, Philip, realizing the partner was in distress. Oh my God, dude. Oh, got a hold of it and took her underwater.
Oh gosh.
oh my God.
Yeah. Horrifying, dude. Sharks and gators, man.
Florida's fast becoming my new Australia.
Right?
Like, I was talking with my boss earlier this week and talking about places we're going to travel, and because, vacation season's coming up. And I mentioned like New Zealand. I'm like, that, there. And he's like, yeah, but not Australia. I'm like, no. We both emphatically do not want to go to Australia, because he's like, oh, everything's going to kill you.
My wife and I actually both do want to go to Australia, but that is a fear of mine of being in Australia. Dude, I saw a video of this.
And that's not just the water stuff, Dave. That's everything.
Oh, that's everything.
Stuff,
yeah.
Water stuff, air stuff. It's just all going to kill you.
Yeah. What's the, there's like a blue spotted octopus or something like that lives there. It's very small. Teeny little guy. You can put it in your hand. And there was a picture of a woman in Australia. I think it's where this thing lives at. And she was holding this blue spotted octopus. And she's like, oh, look at this cute little thing I found. Dude, as soon as I saw that picture, I'm like, oh my God, because I know what it is. And this thing is like the most like poisonous octopus that exists. Like one of the most poisonous creatures that exists down there.
Yeah.
And she could have died. Like if you get poisoned by this thing, it's like hours and you're dead. Like it's crazy. Yeah. So I do have one more story from Florida.
Okay.
This is a poor Florida.
There's like a theme here.
It is. I know.
They always say Florida is God's waiting room, and
Well, yeah. Okay, this one did not end well. This Colorado man dies after a lightning strike on a Florida beach during his honeymoon.
Oh, I thought it happened in Colorado, because I saw the Colorado man. Oh, oh my gosh. Now lightning skill. I told you, air stuff.
Dude.
You joked. You laughed, Steve. Air stuff.
Wow.
Oh, wow. 2 golfers were struck the same day at Smyrna Beach.
Wait, that's the same beach.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they were respecting the sharks and not getting in the ocean, or maybe, but they thought they were safe and they got struck by lightning.
And then Zeus says, you know what? I got new plans for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But dude,
okay,
this poor family, this poor couple, just enjoying their honeymoon. They just got married. They're like, oh, let's go check out, Florida. Let's have fun. And dude gets struck by lightning and killed. That is horrifying. I feel terrible.
The PSA for today is don't go to Smyrna Beach, Florida. Like that's, if I've taken nothing away from this show, I will not be visiting there.
If you got time for the last one, you got time for the last one?
Yeah.
Okay. This one, okay. We'll do this one, then we'll end the show and get you out of here. I saw this one in a couple episodes ago. I don't remember if you were on this one or not, Steve, but we were talking about hot air balloons.
Mm-hmm.
And I said that I wouldn't prefer to ride in one, and Breeze was making the point that, how dangerous are they? And I'm like, that's a valid point. Like, how often do you see a story about people, dying from a hot air balloon?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Saw a story.
Here we go.
Yep. Happened in Brazil. It says let me pull up the article here. Yeah, it says at least 8 people died after a hot air balloon catches fire midair, forcing passengers to jump to escape the blaze.
Oh my God.
Dude, yes. This awful, man. Again, there was I guess they have a backup heater, like a backup fire source, whatever it is, like the fire thing that makes the hot air balloon rise. They keep a spare one on board in case the other one malfunctions. Well, somehow the spare one caught fire, and it started blazing the entire basket that they ride in.
Oh my gosh!
And they were able to they were able to get the hot air balloon low enough that some people were able to jump out. And then, but because the fire kept increasing in the basket, it was actually just adding more air to the balloon, and it pulled them back up in the air again.
Oh.
And the people that were left on it, when it fell, they all died.
Oh.
So awful stories to end the show with. I apologize.
Adding to my list of
Yes,
things
things
I've
not
never
to do.
gone to do. Smyrna Beach, check. Hot balloon, air balloon, check. Certain massage parlors in Erie, check.
Check. Kayaking in Florida, check.
Florida
Public
in
restrooms on cruise ships.
Check.
After Steve has used them. No.
Check.
Thanks for sharing your story, Steve. I really good to have you on the show again.
Yeah.
Oh, that was fun. That was a good show, guys. Thank you for taking time out to do this one. And yeah, I guess till next time, right? Yeah, Steve, thanks for jumping on.
Thanks for having me, man. Always a pleasure.
All right, guys, we'll see you next Monday. Bye-bye.
Bye.